Hello YouTubers, Texargan back today, again, as you can see. Today, well, as right now, I'm going to talk about gear and stuff that I've actually used, that's tried, true, tested, proven itself in the field, and share my results with y'all. First thing I want to talk about, which is probably the most important on your rifle, I guess, is the scope. And hawke. This scope has been on multiple guns, has never failed me. I love this scope. It is an 8-32 by 56. It is the half mil dot at 20 times. It comes with all the bells and whistles. I mean, you get, everything, the sunshade and all that stuff. And I'm going to put links in the bottom to all this stuff, these items, because I trust them and I think that you'll love them if you actually purchase them too. Hawke, great scopes. They are expensive, but I've talked about this in the past, but for the money you can't beat them. I mean, you don't got to spend $1,000 on a loophole. It's half the price, same, and you're going to get the same result, especially for an air rifle. Turrets work, everything. I don't have to go through review. Everybody knows about hawke. Next thing I want to talk about, another major factor, rangefinder. This is a Bushnell Arc 1000. This has the bow hunters and the rifles set up on it. This is approximately 2 years old. I've never changed the battery out and it still works. And it is amazing. It doesn't weigh anything. It's easy to throw around, move around. It's waterproof. I mean, you could beat it up. It still works. And I've had this thing for 2 years now and I haven't even changed the batteries on it. I'll put a link down on that. It's a great buy. It does 1,000 yards and 6 by 21, I believe is what it is. It's great. Another thing that works great is the weatherflow wind meter. These things are cheap, under $30, I believe. I'll put a link down. Hooks right to your smartphone and gives you direct wind readings to calculate right into stray lock, which is another thing that I'll talk about next. So that is a really good thing to have, especially when you're long range shooting with air rifles. And to use the weatherflow wind meter, you need the weatherflow app, cell phone, whatever, and then or Straylock. I currently use Straylock Pro. It's like $12 or $13, but it's worth it. It allows you to input almost anything you need to do in any gun. I mean, you don't have to just shoot air rifles, any gun. I mean, you can set up to shoot moving targets if you want to. It's awesome. So that's a good thing to have. The next thing is ammo. I would tried and true all the time. JSB go to any gun you buy. I would say try JSBs. They're gonna work. People say air arms, but most of the companies out there, they are JSB ammo with different names on them. JSB's actually making them. Another thing that's great on the field is this thing right here. This is the Caldwell Deadshot fieldpod. Amazing, lightweight, folds up. You carry it on your back, real easy to deal with. Very maneuverable, solid. Extends like 40 inches, I believe, or 30 something inches. High enough to shoot off of in any position, basically. Just really good to mount your gun and sit and wait, or carry around and just drop it on the ground when you're ready to go. I love this thing. It's awesome. It's way better than a little shooting stick, I'll tell you that much. And about the same price as a decent shooting stick too, so it's another item that I would say is really well worth it. And then last but not least would be your air source. Now, when it comes to price, of course, usually more money means better, and SCBA is pricey. This size 60 minute, which is equivalent to 88 cubic feet. This tank with the setup is like $750. I know that's steep, but when it comes to a scuba tank or having a gun that fills over 200 bar, you're just gonna have to bite the bullet and get it. But once you have it, you can see I could pick it up with my pinky. So, awesome. And it will fill your gun up at least 40 times. This is a 230cc cylinder to 230 bar, I will get over 40 fills, complete fills with this tank before it starts dropping down. And then you'll still get a bunch of fills to like 190, 180 bar until you have to actually go fill it. Now, speaking of that, now if you were to buy a Hotson PCP or any other PCP that only goes up to 200 bar fill pressure, a scuba tank, it's going to get the job done, and that's what I started off with. And for the price, brand new scuba tank, $200, and you can get the refill tanks for $30, $40. So it's a big difference, and you will get probably 30 fills on a 200 bar gun, but that's not complete fills. You're going to get 2 or 3 200 bar fills, and then it's going to drop down to about 190, and then you'll get a bunch of those, and then 180 bar and a bunch of those. So you do get your money's worth, and the price, like I said, is about a third of the cost. So that's one thing I wanted to get out there is SCBA or scuba. It just depends on, I guess, your fill pressure on your gun. So just keep that in mind when you order a gun. And another thing I want to talk to you about ordering a gun, a place to order. Pyramyd Air. Why I say that is they have the ability to pay off your air rifles. And that's right, they do credit. It's called Affirm. When you go to your checkout, you go down on the bottom and you click Affirm, and they can approve you up to a year. You could get 0% interest, 10, 20, or 30%, and even at 30%, it was I think like $100 interest in a year on a gun that was like $700 or $800, which is, I mean, that's good to be able to pay off an air rifle. I mean, these things are expensive, and most people don't want to shell out $1,000 up front because they're just not sure. So getting to be able to pay it off and not be out a whole bunch of money up front will allow you to buy a good rifle scope, a tank, and everything you need, and then, you know, pay it off, because a lot of people don't have $2,500 lying around to buy all this fancy stuff, which I think my setup is over $2,500, to be honest. And I didn't accumulate all this at once and just go out and buy it. It took time and effort and finding good deals, and that's what I'm trying to get out to y'all, is the good deals. And it's good to know whenever you save $100 on something, or $50, or even just $10. I mean, it feels good to know that you didn't get the worst deal out of the two. You know, you did get a better deal. And there are better deals probably out there that I'm going to be able to tell you about, but it's not going to be intentionally. I'm going to put the best deals I can find out there and the best products that I know that work. And I'm not going to try to push any junk. All this stuff is tried and true. I haven't talked about the Streamline yet because honestly I haven't took it on the field and tested it and all that. I believe it's going to be that good, but I'm not going to stand by it just because I haven't had a chance to test it. All this other equipment I have tested, it works great, and I would stand by it at any time. And on the next video, we'll talk about your first PCP, and I think a good brand is Hotson. And well, actually, we'll just talk about that right now. I'll put these links down at the bottom. Hotson is a great company. You probably may have heard of it. It's, I guess you would say, on the bottom end, mid-level. Their guns start at around $500 and go up to $1,300 is what the Hercules is running. But if you're wanting to get into PCP rifles and you like 22s or 25 calibers, but I would say 22 is probably the first one you want to get, the Hotson AT-44 is probably the best rifle for the money because of the fact that you can customize it and get it to shoot almost as good as one of these high-end rifles. Now, you can't just buy the rifle and get it and that's it. You have to buy the regulator. And I say that because regulating a gun is all the difference in the world, because it doesn't matter how full you pressurize this tank, it's going to shoot the same no matter what. And that plays a big role on different tanks, hand pumps, and all that stuff, because it makes it a lot easier. You fill it up, you know what it's going to shoot, You have it all dialed in your straight lock. You don't have to wait for your shot curve and all that BS. So that's the one thing I love about Hatsans. The AT-44s, the BT-65s, great guns. I've owned both of them before. I've owned a Galatian. All great guns. But for the money, the AT-44 is going to get the job done. It's a lot smaller gun. And like I said, you order a Pyramyd Air, you could pay it off. And then if you want something a little bit more powerful, I would say the BT-65 and a 25 caliber is going to be my next choice. I had that gun for probably a year and I loved it. I don't think I missed 2 shots on animals with that rifle, and I didn't regulate it. I didn't mess with it. I just shot it right out of the box. I was new to air rifles. I didn't know how to do all that stuff, so I didn't mess with it. Now, having said that, I wish I'd still have it because I would order the regulator and get it all regulated, and the things are great. Baxter Walton, he knows what I'm talking about. He decks the Hatsans out, and he stands by them true and true, which I guess his website's bwaltonpcp.com. I'm pretty sure he'll appreciate me giving him a shout out, but yeah, he'll stand by Hatsan and tell you too that he'd rather have a Hatsan than probably a FX or Daystate just because of pricing. And on his aspect, I would say that's right, because he has the ability to tune them. He knows what he's doing. Now, if you don't know what you're doing, don't try it. You do need a chronograph or a way to test the feet per second. And you are going to need to know a little bit about guns in general. You're going to have to take it apart. You're going to have to adjust the hammer spring. You're going to have to take the cylinder apart and install the regulator. But honestly, these are all things that are on YouTube. They got step-by-step instructions that you can find, and it's very simple. You shouldn't be able to do it yourself. The only thing you'll have to order is the regulator and a chronograph, and they're both $100 a piece. And the chronograph is a must, as bad as any of these items, I guess, when it comes to customization of your PCP, but I don't have mine on the table because it's not necessary in the field for hunting, and this is what I was more turning to is target shooting and hunting and stuff that I've tried and true. I have currently on the Crony Beta, and it hasn't failed me. I actually shot it with my 308 and it still works, so I'll post a link for one of those down there too. And I mean, it's great. I've shot it with the pellet gun. I didn't shoot the actual unit with the 308. I shot one of the rods, but it still works, and that was what was in all the video previously. So, and that's about a couple years old too. And I mean, having said all this, I mean, air rifles are just fun. I love them. I can't get enough of these things. I've owned a lot of guns. I've done gun shows, and I've never had as much fun as I've had with these air rifles. And I know you're saying BS on that, but I mean, if it wasn't, I'd show you my safe, but it'd be kind of dumb to post all that stuff online. But it's just, this thing is more fun than anything I have in my safe. And I don't know, just to be able to go shoot it and not have nobody give you any grief, you know, what are you doing, blah blah blah. I mean, I haven't, in the 2 years I've been shooting air rifles, I've only heard comments on the thing like, that thing is awesome, where'd you get that, what is that? I've never heard anybody really complain like, get that out of here, blah blah blah. It's just always been, that's awesome. And I mean, you know, you don't really get that with guns. People are always scared of guns for some reason. Like, a gun's gonna get off the table and run around the corner and shoot somebody. No, it's not guns you gotta be afraid of. It's other crazy people. And I don't know how to stress that enough. There's really nothing that's gonna change crazy people except good people teaching them the right things. And that's not what this is about. This is about I guess, good quality products, and that's what I want to stress to y'all. So please subscribe to the channel, and if you like any of these products, I'm going to link them up to you, and I'll stand by them. And until next time, this is Texas Air Gunner. And remember, Pyramyd Air has a firm and a payment option. I would It's basically finger hut for air rifles, but they have good air rifles, so keep that in mind. Subscribe to my channel. Until the next time, this is Texas Air Gunner. See you later.